welcome to episode 1 of Hiking Teyvat. I am so hyped for this. So I am here with Navia in Poisson, and following a suggestion by player Tropical Greens, we are hiking Mount Autumnequi. I am really excited for this. So the route we're going to take is we are going to go at the west slopes to the beach, then we're going to follow the line, go up here, hike the mountain, go down on the other side and end at the waterfall wind domain. And I think we're actually going to do a run of that domain because my Navia is unbuilt. So my Navia team today is my usual Navia team, but sadly Navia is missing 3 artifacts because my harmonic whimsy pieces are absolute trash. I don't have them. My nighttime whisper pieces are trash. Then we've got Xilonen Petra, missing 3 Petra pieces. We have Deyha on an actual build, but she is missing a goblet. I don't have EM goblets. And then we have a Furina who has an actual full build, but none of the artifacts are leveled. But Furina's on a pipe. In terms of constellations, notable, my Deyha is C2. And in terms of weapons, Navia's on an R2 Verdict that I haven't leveled yet. Xilonen is on a Peak Patrol that I haven't leveled. Deyha's on a Macaira Aquamarine I haven't leveled. And Furina is on a Fleuve Cendre Ferryman I haven't leveled. And obviously none of them are leveled either. Welcome to Lore Player Central, where we pull all the characters we want, but we don't build any of them. Now, so what we're doing is we are going to hike this mountain. And I'm just going to chat about Navia while we do this, because we are in Fontaine and it is her area. And in the end, you can enjoy all of this on both Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, so I really like Navia. Obviously, I started playing during Arlecchino's first banner. So I had no idea like which characters to pull for, but I knew I liked Navia in the lore. Like, her lore is so sad. I think we should probably, I don't know if we're gonna pass it, but I think we're gonna pass the graveyard. Yeah, it's over there. And we're actually gonna do a little fishing stop. Yeah, we're gonna go up to the graveyard just to pay respect to Navia's dad, and most importantly, and we are actually going to take a picture there, we are going to pay respect to Silver and Millis. So if you haven't played the Fontaine Icon quest, now is the time to stop listening and to skip ahead. But obviously Navia has these people working with Spina de Rosula who have been with her since her father was running the organization, and they very much kind of took care of her, and they die in the Archon quest. So the reason we're swimming here is actually for no particular reason, except I would like to have the Fontaine fishing rod someday, and I actually really like the idea of getting the fishing achievement of the 2000 fish. But yeah, we're taking a little fishing break during our hike. But yeah, the important thing, I think one thing we're also going to do is we're going to walk the whole thing. It'll make for a longer video, but that's what you're here for, aren't you? It's a hike, not a sprint. But yeah, so I really like Navia. Obviously there's the connotations that the Spina de Rosula is very close to a more traditional portrayal of the Mafia, which in itself isn't good. Mafia not the greatest organization in the world, if we want to formulate this nicely. But I think something that has been done really well, and I saw a couple of Italian players pointed out, is that while the Spina de Rosula resembles the Mafia, Navia herself doesn't actually have any of the symbols. She's a really kind character. The organization is portrayed a lot more within the bounds of the law and a lot less criminal, and obviously there is no like genuine evil intent with the Spina di Rosula. Now, Navia's first banner when I was playing was during Simulacra, and I got her. And as you might have seen, my Navias are 2. Now, the reason my Navias are 2 is because I'm a Layla main, and before Layla Freeze with Escoffier was a thing, my favourite Layla team was Layla Melt. And the best weapon for Layla Melt, by far, is Key of Kashnisud. So when Nilo ran alongside Navia, I made a plan to get an R5 key. What I got instead was an R2 key and an R2 verdict. I am still gonna R5 my key, and I'm actually also gonna C6 my Nilu, because she's the one using the key since Layla has been moved to a freeze team. But yeah, so that's why Navia has an R2 verdict. I could have kept the verdicts separately, but I've always been one to refine my weapons. Which in retrospect, now that I have so many weapons and none of them are leveled, actually feels like a very good thing to have done. Speaking of weapons, one thing we are going to do alongside this hike is every time we encounter some ores, we are actually going to collect them, because we are so short. Okay, so we stopped fishing. We did our fishing. Let's go have our first fight. Oh, this is gonna go so awful. How much is he gonna do? My Navia used to deal like 70k. Back when I had some like shitty artifacts on her. I had her on a Death Sands and like an off-piece Geo Goblet that had like no crit rolls. And I also had her like on a, I think it was a really shitty circlet. That's why we don't have it anymore. I strongboxed it away to build myself a Bennett for the Lost Abyss. A lot of my artifacts went away that day. Okay, so what we did here, which was wrong, which is why I have to practice this team more, is we can burst with Deyha while Navia's burst is active. Like, that's a thing we can do. What we're supposed to do is to activate Xilonen's skill before we burst with Deyha, because then we get a little damage bonus. I am also horrible at timing Furina's burst. Okay, so now we have Xilonen's skill, we have Navia's burst, and now we're just gonna have to attack with Navia. So as you can see, my Navia is still quite far away from her previous 70k, and this team has like horrible fanfare even with Deyha. But we're trying. Boom. And we are actually defeating these mini Vivians. So yeah. Team, same as before. Interruption resistance. Shred. Burst. And all of that while we're still crystallizing. And then, because we've picked up all the crystallized shards, Navia has a fully charged burst. Hey. The funny thing with my Navia, so I have her R2. But I looked at her C1 and I had the wishes. And I don't feel like getting more constellations on Navia. Like, when I look at her constellations, it's not interesting for me. So, I actually, I might end up with more constellations of the key if she ends up with a character that, like running with a character that I really like. So, we're gonna chat to Ahi. How everything's been going. I love the Melazines. The Melazines are so much fun. So, when I was playing Fontaine at the very beginning, there's a quest called There Will Come Soft Rains. And that quest traumatized me, because for those who don't know, there are two things called There Will Come Soft Rains. One is a poem, and the other one is a short story by Ray Bradbury. Now, the short story is told from the perspective of a dog, and I think I can spoil it because it's been out for a very long time. But the dog wakes up to the automated house, asking if it should read its owner's favorite poem. There Will Come Soft Rains. I'm not actually gonna find the poem and read it to you, and you'll really understand it. So it's by Sarah Tealsdale. There Will Come Soft Rains. It's a poem about World War I. There will come soft rains and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fenced wire, and no one will know of the war not won, will care at last when it is done. No one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. Now this poem plays over the speakers inside the short story, while the dog witnesses the house falling apart, like the machinery is failing. And you only realize in the very last paragraph that there was a nuclear fallout and the owner died, and the dog is full of cancer and it's its last day. So Genshin puts a quest in Fontaine called There Will Come Soft Rains, and it starts by you meeting a Melusine who has a dog called Seymour. Can you imagine what I thought was gonna happen when I started playing this stupid quest? I mean, I love that. Ma Mère is a great character. We can visit her later. But, boy! It's a like multi-day quest line with like reset waiting and stuff like that. And the entire time I'm like, will the dog survive? Will the dog survive? And you can't look up, does the dog die for the Genshin? That's not how it works. It was infuriating. But yeah, There Will Come Soft Rains, great quest. We forgot to do Xilonen's skill, and we forgot to do Deyha's skill, but it's fine because she dealt a 10k on her babe. I love Deyha. I switched around some artifacts for Deyha, so I'm actually gonna show you. We go back to walking. So my Deyha. Her feather is actually one of the best artifacts on my account. And this is her feather, like her feather. I got it, I kept it for her, and then I gave it to Layla. I have now switched Layla to a double HP feather with ER instead of crit damage. It's less crit heavy, but Layla's freeze team actually doesn't need as much crit. Or at least Layla's builds don't need as much crit as I thought, because having more HP on her just is better. But yeah, so this is actually Deyha's feather, and the same with these sands, these attack sands. I start them for Deyha, and then they were Escoffier's offset piece for the longest time, and I just gave them back to Deyha at some point. She just doesn't have a goblet, because what I would like to have for her is on her Vorokasha build, I would like to have a Prior Damage Goblet on Vorokasha. Now, if I get an off piece, and it's Deyha's turn, she'll get it. She also wants a full EM gilded piece, but it's fine. But yeah. So Daryl Comes of Trains was a great quest. Was really not traumatizing at all, and I'm still obviously not still upset about it. But going back to Navia, when I first started playing her, I'm actually a big fan of the idea that Navia and Clorant are like the most meddlesome couple in Fontaine. They get involved in everybody's business, and they're adorable. I really like them together. So when I started playing, and I had Navia and Clorant, I would actually play them on the same team. I would play Navia as an off-field sub-DPS, so put as much ER on her as I could, and then just put down her burst. And then I would on-field Clorant, and the other characters on the team were Toma and Chi-Chi. So you had a Pyro Shield, and then you had Chi-Chi as a healer, because I just really like Chi-Chi. Or sometimes I used Layla. I just used to use a shield with them, essentially. And it was a really, really fun team. It works really well. Sometimes I still use it. Obviously, it's not my go-to team anymore. My go-to team is Xilonen and Deyha Furina. I also do have an Yelan variation. I actually really like playing Yelan, especially with my Geo DPSs. What we're also going to do on these hikes is we're going to pick up everything. I was toying with the idea of using a treasure compass, but I actually think taking pictures in between is nicer. So yeah, we are going to hike up this mountain, and then we're going to hike down on the other side. I used to be so low on Luminous bells. I used to just run out of them. But yeah, listen to how nice this music is. And now I have tons of Luminous bells. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we are going to take a picture. And I don't like that picture. So, the bullets don't go away. That is a shame. Stop running. We're walking. So now, I see Oja. I should probably switch to the treasure compass. Okay, so we've missed nothing, at least as far as we're aware. So now I think it's time to climb. Or we actually go around. So we're gonna pick up that Marcotte. We're gonna go in here and see if there's any artifacts, but I don't think so. I am incredibly low on fodder. One reason I started doing artifact domains isn't just that I want to get the times to do the silly little time challenge at the end. Antoine, what are you doing here? What happens if we talk to you? Antoine Rogers, the name, and Clockwork Engineering's the game, my special internal truth. Oh, he's annoying already. Yeah, he's full of shit. I don't see an aircraft. I think I've done that. I know that there's like aircraft that you can pick up, and it's really nice, but it's a shame that we can't get rid of like Navia's bullets. Maybe if we just fire them? Well, that solved it. Another shot. I like the verdict. I think it looks really cool. I will just take random photos and then see. But yeah, we're going to the top of the mountain. And then we are gonna go. So we are gonna go here to the top of the mountain. Then we are gonna go down here. Are we gonna go into the underground? No. And then we are gonna go to the domain. And I'm gonna check our resin. Yeah, we can do a run. So obviously the domain has Song of Days Past and Nighttime Whispers. We are obviously hoping for a Nighttime Whispers piece for Navia, or for enough pieces to strongbox some Crimson Witch. I do kind of need artifacts from everywhere. I even need some vermilion for Zhao. I do respect the people that said that now he has a better set. They're going to use his better set. I'm not one of those people. I don't care if he has a better set. He's going to use his dead boyfriend set. But yeah, Navia Nighttime Whispers. So why are we playing her Nighttime Whispers? Because it's her set. I like using characters with the set that was intended for them. Unless I'm like doing a Mimi build, like with my DPS Siege Queen. I actually like building characters in a way that maxes out their talent scaling. That is actually something that is kind of a priority in my builds. So one thing you will see a lot on my account is that somebody is built as a support instead of a sub DPS, when they could very well be a sub DPS. Really good example of that is Xilonen, Furina, Deyha. Like, okay, so Deyha obviously with her EM build, it's more of a support build. Her Vorkasha build is very much a DPS build. But you know what I mean. So we are going to go up the mountain and then we're going to go glide down the mountain. I think it kind of actually I don't think we're going to go glide down. I think that defeats the kind of purpose of hiking. But we are almost at the peak of this mountain. And look at Navia climb. She is doing so well. And unlike Lisa, she doesn't have annoying climbing wastelands. Look at this. What have you? Can we see Shenyu Vale from here? No, but we can see Deshret's pyramid. If we go, like, obviously there's a wind current here that we're not going to get. I know it's probably an Oculus on top of the mountain. I've got all the hydroculi except one in... Okay, so this is just mountains on the other hand. This is Sumeru. So yeah, we are just gonna go down this mountain now. We climbed the mountain. Now we are actually gonna go down on the other side and then go to the domain. Like, you can see it over there. We're gonna go down over here, take that path and go to the domain. And we hope, like, if we fall down at any point, we're actually gonna plunge, but this was fun. We're actually gonna plunge instead of glide, because I think gliding kind of defeats the purpose of a hike. Whee! Whee! I love the bouncing on Navia's curls. It's so cool. We are now in the east slopes. So let's go down the east slopes. Oh, this music is so nice. Oh, her poor feet. Genshin physics really isn't nice to the characters. I find the camera angles in Genshin interesting because you're like, if you're properly like navigating, you never really see your characters from the front. Outside of like Mizuki in combat, pretty much. But you're always behind the character, so it's almost like you're fighting. It's like you're fighting alongside the character. You're not letting the character fight for you. It's really nice. So we are gonna go down here, and then we are gonna go to the domain. And I think after that domain, we are gonna go down there. It's not a Fatui hideout. We'll go back to Poisson after doing the domain once. I think it is a geo domain. Like we actually use geo in there. So using Navia inside her own domain is actually gonna work. There we go, more Navia pictures. I'll have to like post the video together with all the screenshots I took today. If I had Archer with me, I would have been so tempted to shoot that seagull. I don't know what it is. It's just like the fact that you can shoot the seagulls kind of makes me want to shoot the seagulls. But it's also like it's something I would only do in game. But yeah, we are at the domain. If Navia could come down the hill. Miss Navia. Look over here. One domain for you. And after that we'll go back to Poisson, don't worry. The waterfall then. When? I don't know how it's supposed to be. Yeah, so elemental shards will crystallize. Perfect. We are one short. How many minutes do we need? We need 45 seconds. So let's stand here for 45 seconds. The thing is, like, it'll take us 45 seconds to clear the domain. Maybe. And I am not resin refreshing. Yeah, 24 seconds. Okay, we're not gonna beat this domain in 24 seconds with this team, let's be honest. Hey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with Xilonen. We're gonna start with Furina so that Deyha can get... So, Furina. Yeah, 6 opponents. So that's fanfare. First. So Xilonen again. More crystallized. That is so much fanfare. I never get that much fanfare. Technically you should aim with Navia here. And we forgot to put down Deyha's skill. I like how Deyha healing herself actually really helps with the fanfare when we still have it. And now Furina is incredibly low on energy in this team. Usually I play my Furina in double Hydro teams, which significantly improves her energy needs. But she is about 100 ER short of decently meeting her energy requirements. So that was Waterfall when in 1 minute 19. Obviously a horrible time, but it can be improved upon in the future. For example, one team that I already know would have been faster would have been Varessa with Shiori. But yeah, the good thing is that now we have 20 resin. Let's go. So we get a feather that we can't use. I'll have to check if I have any like current build for Song of Days Past, but I don't think so. Siege Queen, obviously, we just put her on Harmonic Whimsy. So we are going to go back to Poisson, but in the meantime, we will just level some artifacts, first of all, so I can get the annoying exclamation mark that artifacts can be leveled. You can put some 4-piece artifacts on your characters. No, I don't want to. Yeah, so that feather over there. So the thing with Song of Days Past is when I look at the characters that want to use it on my planned builds, I have a couple of characters where I was like, you know what? I would like to put them on Song of Days Past on an alternate build. So, if I look up Song Days Past, we've got Shivers on an active build. We've got Siege Queen, Zanyun, and that is it. Shivers, Siege Queen, Zanyun. So, because Zanyun is currently on She is currently on Viridescent Venera. So I'm not gonna take her off VV. And meantime, for my sorry, I'm having spam in chat and I can't remove it. It's driving me crazy. Why isn't it letting me remove the spam? It used to let me remove spam. Never mind, it's gone. I hope so. But yeah, so Zanyun currently on VV. Seedwing currently on Harmonic Whimsy. Cheverus, I'm pretty sure has a better piece. We're just gonna check this real quick, but this is my Cheverus. She is currently on the builds. She does not have a better piece. This has EM. So what we're gonna do, we are gonna fodder this one into our other artifacts, and because Shiver's Feather isn't a start, we're gonna actually fodder it into Yelan's off-piece goblet. So this Vermilion goblet, the reason I'm leveling it is because Vermilion is a set that can go on anyone. So a Vermilion Hydro goblet is always going to be an acceptable off-piece for a character. But yeah, very excited. So we are almost back in Poisson. If you see, we are walking towards Poisson. We're gonna go past the east slopes. We might have to fight some Fatui on the way, but let us go down to the path first. Can't fight Fatui if we're not even close to the path. Wee. I kind of want to run with Navia, just to get that Marcotte. We're almost done with our hike. Oh, that is a very suspicious mint field. Do we maybe get a chest here after we defeat the Whooper Flower? Well, maybe if our Furina doesn't work. Okay, that's some fanfare. Our HP isn't really changing, that's what we need Deyha for. No, I think I've already gotten that chest. But now we're gonna fight some Fatui. Hui, now we're gonna fight some Fatui. Like, when we're fighting, we can actually spread here at least. Otherwise, this team is in dire need of help. Boom. Boom. We probably should have used Navia here to at least charge her burst. We definitely should have used Deyha's. Does it go through the tent? Yes, it does. Oh, let's go, Furina. Okay, we're still having energy issues, but that's okay. These operatives are really annoying, especially when they're inside the tent. At least my Xilonen has ER, let's be honest. I could have gotten like tried to get a defense scroll built for Xilonen, but I'm actually gonna let you in on a secret. I don't like scroll. I think it's an overused set, same as Petra. Unless you are using Stygian you're trying to min-max your Stygian Onslaught line, there is no real reason to build your characters in a kinda min-maxing your artifact stats way. Like min-maxing your buffs. Because what you're doing with sets like Scroll. So, for those who didn't realize, for you to trigger, I think I'm going to show it on Xilonen because she actually shows the Scroll pieces. So, for you to trigger the 2-piece effect, you need to have another Natlan character in your team. If you don't have another Natlan character in your team, you're not gonna trigger your 2-piece. Now in itself, I personally take this as a reason not to run a set. Now some people don't care as much. Because in the end, if you're trying to like max the damage on a single rotation, you're still gonna do a little more damage by having the effect. So let's run back to the path. Check which path we have to be on. Yeah. So we are just walking under the bridge, so it's fine. But yeah, so if you're trying to get a specific effect, like triggering on March shows a crit rate increase, triggering your scroll 4-piece elemental damage bonus, and you need it for the rotation and you need it to deal your max damage, I think it's completely fine. But for me, when I do multiple rotations and I play my teams, I want the teams to be like interesting to play. I don't want to have wasted stats, I don't want to have wasted effects, I don't want to have stat sticks on my characters. Like if I put a weapon on somebody, I would like that weapon to have a synergistic effect, which is for example why my deathmatch is on Yunjin, because it gives defense and attack. And while attack isn't as useful for her, crit rate and attack and defense very much is. And deathmatch is a low base attack weapon. So I don't want to put my deathmatch on, for example, my Emily, or before I got her weapon on my Escoffier, because I don't want to get into a situation where all the deathmatch is for is to turn one of my supports into a sub DPS. That is just not a way I would like to play the game. So there we go, we are going to Poisson. There we have a mech and his dog. They are adorable. I hope we don't have to fight them. I don't want to fight them. We do. Oh, we do. And I don't want that artifact over there. We are gonna need that, as you can see. Let's actually run there. We have finished our hike. We have finished our hike. Artifact, we've deserved it. Let's fight some guys. You guys are adorable. But it's time for the trash heap. Okay, now... Oh, yikes. I obviously didn't bring healing food. So now we don't have a fully built DPS anymore. Oh no. I love Furina's C and voice lines. I think they're so nice. I just love the way she sounds. Okay, so that was some radish. Xilonen and stop climbing. But yeah. Clean up. And back to Poisson. We are back. We're just gonna go down there, go back to our starting point. And here we are. That was episode 1 of Hiking Teyvat. Shout out to the Shades of Teyvat Discord, which is a Discord for the communities of Tales of Teyvat and the Shade Chamber, 2 amazing podcasts that you should listen to, where a couple of people recommended hikes to me that I could do in Teyvat. So today's hike was in Fontaine. We went up Mont Autumnequi together with our Navia team. Stay silly everyone, and I'll see you again for the next hike.